Hey there. So this video is going to be about calories in, calories out, and why I think it does not work for people with really any metabolic issues. And so I believe, a fundamental flaw within the calories in, calories out model that really just isn't talked about enough. But before we get into why I think this model doesn't necessarily work, we have to understand exactly what a calorie is. So when I was in school, we actually determined how to calculate 1 calorie. And so what we did was we used this device called a bomb calorimeter. It was like this big insulated bowl, essentially, that had all these probes, and it was essentially, the purpose of it was to determine how much energy was required to raise 1 kilogram of water 1 degree Celsius. So what we did, at least with my group, is that my little group, lab group, we burned a Dorito over this Bunsen burner, and I remember very distinctly that it had a blue flame that we burned this Dorito over. And of course, it was in a fume hood. Everything was measured. We had all these probes in this fume hood. It was a closed system, in other words, as closed as we could get it to be accurate with these calculations. And so when we did that, I remember something that really resonated with me this entire time was that, when does our bodies ever get to the temperature of a blue flame, which I believe is, 2000 something degrees Fahrenheit. So when is that ever the case for human biology? Never. Right? So anyways, after we burned this Dorito over this blue flame, we collected all the ash. We measured the pressure changes. I don't quite exactly remember all the details of what we did, but essentially we used unit conversions to change the amount of work done within that system. We used joules for that unit, and we converted joules into kilocalories. And kilocalories is just the, standard unit for, within scientific studies, if you will, the scientific community. So when we convert kilocalories into calories, they're essentially the same thing. We just use calories for the general public because it's just easier to understand. But 1 calorie is 1,000 kilocalories. And so that is where that comes from. So that is the unit of energy for calories in the first place, is that it's literally food that's been burned over a blue flame. And that never quite sat well with me, mainly because, again, our bodies don't ever get that hot. And if you think about it, a joule is actually electrical and work energy.